we on? I'm kidding. Hi, everybody.
Is it soup yet?
It's soup. It's time to make the donuts.
Yeah.
Good evening. Hello, and hey, Martin County. This is the Martin County Business Exchange Wednesday night show. And it is April 7th.
Yeah.
Wednesday, of course.
Second day in a row you've been in the studio.
Oh, my
Very
gosh.
Cool, huh?
It seems like you're going to lose your job if you don't watch out, Frank.
Yeah.
How do you work
I'm
the
going
board?
to teach you how to do this in case, I have to be out of the office one day.
That's great. This is John Campion, your co-host. That's John Campion. Let me say it clear. And my co-host, who's here all the time, it's the world-famous Frank Mezzapel,
Knock it off.
otherwise known as Big Frank.
Yeah, Big Frank, yes.
Big Frank.
Yes.
And we are very privileged today.
Which is the opposite of my appearance.
Yes.
Yes,
You were tapping on my shoulder today. I thought I had a fly on me. I
What
kept
is
flipping.
that?
What do
that?
you want, son? Get away from me, huh? But today our guest is Eric Keene from C&W Technologies. Welcome, Eric.
Hi, John. And by the way, it's the 4th today.
Oh,
not
yeah.
the 7th.
Did I say the 7th?
You did.
You know why? Why was I thinking that?
I don't know.
I must have had something I did at work before I left.
Moving the calendar up a little.
4-4.
Yeah.
18.
4-4, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to push that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the 7th Saturday. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was.
So, hi, John, and hey, Frank.
Hey.
We don't know what we do without Eric.
Yeah.
I have to say one thing before we get going.
All right, sure.
Okay.
All right.
We have had visitors from up north, and I
Yes.
told them I would do a shout out.
Okay, let's do that.
My wife Dee Dee has 4 sisters, and 2 of them and a niece are here. Donna is here from Newport News, Virginia.
Hey, Donna.
And Cindy is here from New Bern, North Carolina.
All right,
with
Cindy.
Megan, my 17-year-old high school senior.
Wow. Very
And
good.
they are visiting, and I
Yeah.
want to do a shout out to them.
Yeah, congratulations.
And,
you picked a good place to land.
Yes,
huh?
I have
Yeah.
reminded them when they go to the beach, you just don't go with a towel. It's
No.
called an umbrella
Yes.
and other stuff.
And lots of sunscreen.
So
Yes.
I think today they're walking again.
Yes.
So anyways, but welcome. They are beach fanatics and having a
That's
great time with the
great.
weather. And I call it the Yaya sisterhood at my house.
There you go.
Somebody at work was encouraging me to go home the other day. I said, I'm not really a hurry,
no.
but I love you ladies. Thank you. And I did tell them they could stay for another week. So
Oh, you gave him permission.
it won't happen.
Yeah. No.
But anyways, great to have you. So Eric, with no other delay and getting the right day, thank you. And when I say those things, people forgive me because they know who I am.
Well, it got
that's
right by
okay.
me, so yeah, it's good.
Well, I want to say, I'm just going to say this about Eric and his business. C&W Technologies is a 30-year-old company, right?
Yeah,
Plus
33.
33.
Yeah.
And I remember this morning somebody was asking about C&W. It was our caterer for food. And
Right.
he says, what is what do you guys do? And I said, well, C&W used to stand for computers and whatever.
That's
and
right.
when you told them, yeah, people needed a desk, I'd get them a desk. And
Back in the day, that's an old saying now. Back in the day.
That's
But yeah,
terrible.
we used to do whatever. We still do whatever, but more on the IT technology side. But back then, it was like people would say, "Oh, I bought this computer. I don't know what I'm going to put it on." And I said, "Well, I had access to furniture back then that you had to assemble and all the rest of it, and regular office supply stores didn't really want to deal with that too much." And so I said, sure, I can sell you the furniture as well. And then I'd end up, delivering the computer, assembling the furniture, and building it all out, and setting them all
Nice.
up, getting them all working, and showing them how to work it with dot matrix printers and all that stuff. So we've been around for a long time.
after
But
your 10th desk, you didn't need instructions anymore.
No.
oh no, I got at 10th. I didn't want to even go that far. I was I would do them as quickly as possible because I was to assemble a desk because I really wanted to get the computer up and running and play with the computer. So that was my
Your motivation.
that was my motivation was
Yeah.
where you got to put the computer until I get the desk up
That's
going.
good.
So get that desk done and build it and get it up there so I could get the computer set up. So
Well, and now, back in the day to now, here we are, Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what an amazing business you are in and what you've created with your company because, we're firsthand. We get to listen to you talk each week to us in a networking aspect. And
Right.
I've really been fortunate we have you. We have a little executive CEO group that meets twice a month, and we've all gotten to know each other better with the 6 to 10 people we have in there.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a great group.
Eric, I just said, well, where's your little black book? Because I know he has his pertinent notes in this little black book. And,
I usually do, and my black book is filled up. I'm going to be switching over to another one now. And it's funny because I started doing that, and I always like to say use the right technology for the right situation.
Right.
And I pull out a pen and that little book. Sometimes I say, sometimes this is people don't even think about that anymore. That pen and paper is actually, or pencil and paper, that's actually still technology.
Yep.
Use the right technology for the right situation, and in the right way, and that's what we've always tried to be and tried to do. That's what C&W has been all about. Using technology. I love modern technology. I love the latest and greatest, but it's not always the best technology for your situation. And my goal is to try to come up with the best technology for that particular situation. And businesses especially nowadays, there is such a flood of different technology out there. Whether it's computers, laptops, pads, iPads, phones, mobile devices, Wi-Fi, the software variety that's available. It's just huge. And if you're a small business, how do you figure out what you're going to use? And if you think, I'm just going to do the same thing I've always done, well, that's fine. But maybe you're not. Maybe you're missing something. Maybe you're missing something big. Maybe you can be a bigger time player in a small market if you just change your technology or utilize some new technology. And that's what we've geared our whole business around. But I like to say, I like to. We have a little slogan is doing IT right for 33 years. Or doing IT right since 1985. However you want to say it. We've, and you make mistakes along the way, and you fix them, and you learn from them, and all that. Nobody's perfect out there, but what we really do try to do is try to learn from it, make improvements, and take that to our clients and customers. We cut our teeth. I have a little robotic camera that I love. We did basically two plus years for it. I pre-ordered it. Okay, now there's something you pre-order.
So you had to wait 2 years for
2 years. Well, it was supposed to be out in about 6 months. Not even 6 months. It was actually. Right. I ordered it in October of 2015, and it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be coming out sometime around spring of 2016.
Wow.
Well, didn't make it. And we had all sorts of plans of what we'd be able to introduce that in the market. Well, then it was later in 2016. Then it was early 2017, and later 2017. And you know what? I just got it in January, February, around that time frame. I got this robotic camera. It's fantastic.
So, what are you using this for? I mean, we saw it today, and So what is that for? Filming your presentations or anything? What's the intention?
Our intention was it was going to be a little bit more internal for inside use, which I still am missing a part to use it truly use it the way I want to use it internally.
You got everything but the one part.
The one part, yeah. That
2020.
That part's still coming. I hopefully in not another 2 years, but that should be coming. But this is actually a high action motion type of camera, so if you're in an environment where you want to actually have a robotic camera, you don't have a camera person, and you want to have it track you. Let's say you're a surfer out there, or you're playing soccer, or you want to riding horses, equestrian, and you can have a tag basically attached to you, and it'll follow you around, and it'll zoom in and zoom out.
Cool.
They've got new software that's going to be released this month, which will be self-editing. You can live stream it to the internet. So you can live stream your video as you're running around out there. You attach it to a drone and have the drone follow the drone around if you want. It's all that type of thing. You don't have to have a camera person to actually tracking it. The software that they're going to be introducing, that's going to be self-editing. So it'll edit out the best scenes, the best shots, and then stream that if you want to, or record that. So what is it for? If you have that type of need, great. This camera is going to be fantastic. Robotic camera. It's not.
Okay, I don't mean to interrupt you, but what kind of computer do you connect that to? Okay.
connected to nothing. It's self-contained.
Self-contained.
Self-contained,
So
has
it's a
built-in
computer
Wi-Fi. It's got everything in it.
Whoa.
It will track that tag, multi-tags. You can have tags onto multiple different people, and it'll keep the person who's the primary in the primary scene. You can have it so it's whoever's doing the most action. This thing is really super sophisticated. Great device. Not inexpensive, but inexpensive compared to a lot of other things you could find out there.
No sick days.
And no sick days. Yep. You just have to keep it charged. It'll run for about 4 hours on a charge. So that's a lot of video.
It's like cutting edge AI, really, isn't it?
In a way, yes, it is.
Last time you were in the studio, we talked a lot about AI.
Yep.
Artificial intelligence.
Yes, well done, John.
So we get to play with this stuff,
Yeah.
and we can find out if it's going to be useful or not, and in what areas it would be useful for. Now, that's not as useful in a business sense per se, unless you have some need to be capturing video that you're going to be maybe streaming to, that you want to record and stream to the internet. So if you have a business that might be wanting to do something like that, yeah, sure, that might be an advantage. And we can tell you a little bit about the pluses and minuses. Internal, where we had looked at using this actually is often one of my guys who does a lot of video work. His church is a great example. Okay, they go on to these events, and they're outdoor events, or they're events where they are in different locations. And you can imagine if you're doing a lot of movement on the stage or wherever you might be, they can't move all the built-in cameras in their churches to these locations. But you could take something like this. You could take a couple of them, and then you could get different shots in different angles, and then be able to self-edit or just automatically stream the video.
Okay, so if you have more than one camera, will they talk to each other and know how to work and see?
With the new editing software, I believe, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, well, so my next question is,
Yeah.
so you waited X amount of years.
Now it's available.
And now it's available, and then, of course, this technology, things will drop down in price over a certain period of time, depending.
Usually.
Generally,
Yeah, I will say this. I got it cheaper because I pre-ordered than you can buy it now. But that was but I did have to wait 2 years for that less expensive price. But it's something. I'm using this as an example of something we may look at to see what will work. And in a business sense, you may not have those type of needs, but you have every business. Especially has certain needs of operation what may make their business work better. So we are constantly trying things, looking at things, trying to evaluate whether that would make a business operation more efficient or just any operation more efficient. And so we have a wealth of knowledge that we actually like to take and say, hey, you're using your computer system, you're using your network system, you're using your servers, your cloud servers, your whatever you might be in a certain way. And that's great. Maybe it's working well for you. But what are you doing with that data? What else can you do that may be inexpensive, that can leverage the most important asset in your digital asset in your business? And that's that data. And I started off the talk this morning with what is the secret that Google and Amazon has that you should have as well. And that secret is they know that their business isn't about what they're selling or per se. It's the data that they have, that they are using, that they work with. That is their most important assets.
I realized that years ago when I discovered that Publix, for example, when you scan your credit card at Publix, that data, it was amazing. Like I bought some for my razor, right? Replacement razor blades, right?
Yeah. That's what those are. Yes,
right. I bought the replacement razor blades, and then I get home, and then within the week, a day or two passes, I get a coupon in my inbox of my computer at home. This very same razor blades that I bought. Well, now I could buy them again, but there's a coupon to buy them cheaper.
I want to return these and rebuy them.
Right.
So,
but the point being is that information is sold.
Big Brother started watching then.
But
Buddy
Publix
boy
makes money more than just on the groceries that they sell.
So if you are a business owner and you're a small business owner, what are you doing to leverage that data to a fuller extent? Or do you even know? And if you don't know, we help do that from an IT perspective. We're technology based, so we're from an IT perspective. We can look at what you have and what you're doing, and maybe help you move to a different in a direction that will leverage the information you get, or help you just start gathering information that you've never thought that was of value. If you want to compete effectively, and you can compete effectively against some of these other companies, and even sometimes more effectively, if you have certain information and know what and know how to get to it and how to utilize it, and how to protect it. Because one of the things, one of the other aspects is of all this is that if you are not protecting your data, your business is very much at risk. You are extremely at risk, and probably I'll get into that a little bit later. But one of the things that you need to know is that you have a lot of value in your IT infrastructure that you should be using. It should be running right. It needs to be running right to be able to gather that information and to be able to utilize it. And that's one of the things that we do. That's what we help you do, is figure out is it running right, how to make it run right, and then help you make it, help you utilize that data that you might have out there and not even know that's accessible. And I used this comment this morning. A lot of times we get so wrapped up in our business that we work in the business instead of on the business. And that's one of the things John, you mentioned that as CEO group. It gives us a moment to step back and be able to work on our business and make it better and fix things that are not working right. And that is so valuable, just to be able to step away and not be bombarded by that typical in the business mindset and work on the business instead, where you can start applying some of this. And you don't do it all at once. You just do a little bit at a time. Here's my little hit list. And you just do one thing at a time.
And that's what you have to do. You can't say, well, I got 6 things here. Let me do. No, you got to do maybe 1 or 2, put them on there, put a deadline on it, and have that as your goal and draw a line in the sand to when you can complete it, because you don't want to put too much more on your plate. Because I joined a big boy CEO group outside of our great CEO group. I think I got trained really well, and I learned when I went to that next step how important it is to not get too much on your plate. And one of the biggest things I learned in our CEO group is that it made me think about those things. I picked up so many great ideas and thoughts, and some stuff doesn't transfer exactly the same, but in the end, we're all given a service. We all want to do the best we can. We want to use the right tools. You want to have the right tools in your toolbox. And this is what's really important, and some great points, Eric. I totally agree with you.
It's. I wish and if you're a new business owner out there and you've just been getting started, I will tell you this. My business would be much further and much grander in scale, I am sure of it, if I had been a part of a group like this in my early days. I thought I could do it all myself. That's often when you first start out in business, you're an entrepreneur. I can handle it. I can take care of it. And you juggle, and you can juggle pretty well sometimes. But when it really comes down to it, that extra little input, those insights, you can have divergent different types of business. I'm tech oriented. Okay. John, you sell
retail,
high-end
bath and kitchen products.
There you go. And what is the relationship between those two items? You know what? It's not. Business isn't that much different when you're dealing with those the different type of products. And from an IT perspective, it gets back to the data side, knowing what your business is all about. And the only way you can know about your business is you dive into it and pull that information out. And nowadays, IT, the technology, that's the only way you're going to get that information. It's the only way. You have to keep it running. It has to run well. It has to run the way you need it to run, and that's what we do to help you out. So that's it.
Eric, I have a question. Because this morning I was listening there going, okay, he's talking about, gathering the data. How are you utilizing that data? When you're speaking data, it's a huge subject area.
It is absolutely gigantic.
Because data, okay, I'm getting all this data. Well,
Yep.
what are you talking about, Eric? Data,
Okay.
data. I mean, I have sales orders.
Yep.
I have customer lists. I
Yep.
have email addresses. I advertise digitally. I've got a I mean, what am I doing, and how is this all tied in? So,
Right.
and
So it's really important. Yeah, you get huge amounts of data, and that's one of the things that we help. I like to help us figure out what might be useful for you and point you in the right direction, so you can concentrate your technology resources. Again, a small business, you can't do everything. You just can't afford it. The large businesses can't afford to do everything. They can maybe do a lot more, but then they have also so many more layers. They become monolithic. They become slow in being able to switch or move or pivot or however you want to say.
I like that.
So what you do is you pick out the small things based around those, like you mentioned. Like you may want to pick those 6 items that you have targeted. Okay, so let's say you're targeting marketing. Okay, you want to generate more business. And this is an example. You've got information that's spread across maybe 4 different platforms within your office. Okay, you got the people at the checkout counter that are gathering some information, and it goes into an accounting system of some sort. But what is that good in that accounting system? Well, maybe it tells you what they're buying or not buying. But then, that's a lot of effort to pull out those reports and then try to,
Sort through it,
search through them
yeah.
and so forth. Some of the accounting programs are much better at it. Maybe you don't know that some of the accounting programs will prioritize the fastest moving items compared to the slowest moving items. So you maybe want to learn how to do that, or know that maybe that exists. Well, maybe the program doesn't do it. So maybe you have to export that into a program, into a different program. So, maybe you have Office 365. Do you know there's a program in Office 365 that's, depending on the plan you have, it's called Power BI? And what that program does, oh, by the way, it's free if you have a certain level plan with Office 365 that you might have. What that'll do is that'll take that information, dumped out in a report, and it'll organize it in nice charts, graphs, whatever else for you. And, okay, so it takes a little bit of training, but it's not that hard. One thing I have to say about Microsoft has been putting lots of effort into making things simpler to use. Now you can get very complex with it, but they make it also so that some of these things are very usable. So maybe you take that information that you've got there and you pump it into there. Now you also tie it into some marketing information that you're getting that you've been working with, and now you're seeing, okay, and my marketing information I'm getting reports on, it's coming in and saying, you know what, this is where I'm marketing, and you've got some stuff that's coming in, the information is saying this is what I'm marketing to, and I'm selling this other product, and I noticed that when I advertise in this one little place here, my sales go up for this particular type of product. Oh, and guess what? That's a high margin product. I want to do marketing in that one location to do that marketing of that that high margin product. Why not? And guess what? This does a nice charts, graphs. It does it easily. So a little bit of time to set up. Sure. Can it be done? Yes. Might be free. With some time working on the business instead of in the business.
Right.
But
Hey,
you have to know it exists.
Eric, incredible. I love having Eric on the show. He
Right.
has so much information. He's like the walking cloud. Anyways, we're going to take a short break here for the Martin County Business Exchange Wednesday night show. This is John Campion, the co-host with Frank Mezzapel, and our special guest, Eric Keene from C&W Technologies. We'll be right back.
Now it's time for today's Southeast AgNet Report, brought to you by Everglades Farm Equipment, a a family-owned business for the past 50 years with 10 Florida locations, including Fort Pierce, Okeechobee, and Loxahatchee. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Back. You didn't get a chance to ask your question. I'm sorry, I monopolized all of Eric's time while we were on break.
That's okay. I can make things up. I make things up in the air, Frank. We're back.
We are. Before we visit with Eric again, you know that you've got your own song that I play for our listeners, right?
Please.
Right?
Play it again, Frank.
So I'll play it again, Sam. So, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's for John. I do that every time he's here, and he lets me do that. So I got one, and I try to come up with something that for every guest, right? So I thought of this one for Eric. You tell me if I hit a bullseye.
The whole universe was in a hot, dense state that nearly 14 billion years ago expansion
I always
started.
do show
Wait,
opening.
the earth began to cool, the autotrophs began to drool, Neanderthals developed tools, we built a wall. We built the pyramids, math, science, history, unraveling the mystery that all started with a Big Bang. Hey!
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory? Right?
Yeah.
For a minute, I thought it was the, what was that one that used to have the something in the, remember the crazy character John Lithgow played? And,
yes.
And
The
they were all
Third Rock from the
Third
Sun.
Rock from the Sun. That was a
Big
fun
Bang.
show.
Yeah.
But Big Bang Theory, it's great.
Yeah,
And,
one of my wife's favorite shows. Yeah,
Okay.
well, that original one that Frank played was F Troop.
Yep.
And
Yes.
I was really concerned maybe you're going to play Big John.
Yeah. I did that last week.
That was
right?
great. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
So,
Yeah.
so I just thought I'd kind of shake it up a little bit.
We have a really cool photo of, I think her name's Nicole Smith. She has a show on remodelers or something
right.
on
Just-
HGTV or
Okay,
whatever.
yeah.
And she's in front of a huge wall-supported commercial toilet. And we call it the Kardashian. I mean, it's huge. And she's pointing at it like, yuck.
Wow.
So, yeah, the Kardashian, we call it.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of cool toys out there.
Yep.
There is. There is. All right.
What I thought we could do, by the
Yep.
way, we're back with the MCBE Wednesday night show. John Campion, co-host with Frank Mezzapel, and our guest Eric Keene from C&W Technology.
Yep.
And we've been talking about his 33 years in business,
Yep.
which means that was 1985.
That's right.
Because that's the year I got married, and this is the month of my 33rd anniversary
congratulations.
with Dee Dee. So,
Yeah.
and you guys know Dee Dee, so you know how we all feel sorry for her putting up with me.
She's had to put up with a lot.
Yeah.
But it's probably been good.
It's
She
probably
met me-
never a dull moment. in
Never
the
that. I was just going to
Campion
say something
household.
like that.
Well,
It can't be dull.
she has, she met me when I still didn't have a full head of hair, and that was, So, anyways, I've been suffering for years. Well, listen to you, Italian boy.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Eric, we're both a little challenged.
Yep. Yes.
Let's get back into this, but I wanted to step back for just a second because I wanted to. I think we should tell our listeners, those that are probably non-business, where you're located.
Sure.
Website or phone number, but also, what you're out there for them too. It's not just you go back to your roots and what you would, whoever comes to the door, and you're still like that.
Right. Well, that we've been in business for so long, and we've dealt with so many people, individuals and businesses, that we are still, we still take care of individuals as well. Individual people have individual problems with their computers, spyware, viruses, and so forth. Protection is still a problem. You want to protect. You do not want to have your system compromised, and where you're going to get infected or lose your bank account or get hijacked. And we still deal with those individuals every day where they need something cleaned up, fixed up, and so forth. So yeah, we really do still deal with everybody. The main focus of the business is business, because that's where that's where everything has moved to. But individuals, if you have a problem, to give us a call. We still can take care of you as well. So and still do. I do want to mention though something, and this is for the business side. We are doing. We talked about earlier. We talked about the data aspect being your most important asset. Just imagine if you lose your data, if you don't have good backups, if you don't have a continuity plan, if your system is hijacked, hacked, and cybersecurity is a big risk nowadays, including probably the biggest risk out there. If you're a business owner and you think, okay, insurance is going to cover it, no. If you have a cybersecurity breach, guess what? Your insurance is not going to cover it. Most likely. Right. Very unlikely it's going to cover it. So you need to check your insurance policies. Disaster protection. We have if a roof caves in from a flood, not even from a fire, and you lose your business. Think about how will you run your business without your data and running. So one of the things we're doing in conjunction with we're sponsoring an event with the Treasure Coast Builders Association, the TCBA. And it's tomorrow morning, actually. It's a breakfast briefing. We've brought in, a nationally recognized author and speaker on cybersecurity. He's a cybersecurity expert named David Stezel, and he'll be coming in and doing an early morning talk. There is still time to register if you would like to come and listen to it and find out how you can protect your business. Come and you can go to treasurecoastba.com. And on the little left-hand side there, you'll see breakfast briefing April 5th. If you click on that, you'll see where you can register. Come on, we still have room.
It's free.
It's free, and it's going to be doors open at 7:30, and we should wrap up right around 9. If we run a little longer, if you have to leave, that's fine. But if you come, we should be wrapping up around 9 o'clock. And if there's people asking questions or whatever else, obviously it might run a little over that. But we expect it to expect a really good talk on this. I've heard him. I've seen him speak personally before. He can really lay it out in a simple manner as to why and how you can secure your business. I think it's very worthwhile going. You don't have to be a TCBA member or a client or customer of C&W Technologies. Just go to treasurecoastba.com and look on the little left-hand side for the breakfast briefing, April 5th. There's a little scrolling window there. Click on it, and it'll take you right to it. Register there, and they're just south of Midway.
Yeah, it's actually, we were through this kind of yesterday about something else, right, Frank? It's actually just a little bit north of Prima Vista.
A little north of Prima Vista.
And it's right past where they just knocked down the Norris barbecue joint. And it's across from the Tasty Cake Bakery. I mean, I've got an eyeball on past the St. Lucie Brew House.
Yeah.
So that's free ad for them, and you'll see the TCBA sign logo up on a pole, and there's a couple buildings back to your right. And they got a very nice meeting area, and I guess you're going to be having like a continental breakfast there or something.
We're going to have a little light breakfast and
but
so forth.
I will tell you,
providing we have enough food, hopefully we got enough.
It's fine. Coffee.
We've been told people will show up to this without registering, so we will find out how many.
But I will tell you, the first time I heard Eric talk about this, it really opened my eyes and really got me thinking, as it would any other business owner or person out there, because Big Brother's watching, and they're watching from all around the world.
Right.
Look at Facebook's dealing with. It was in the news again today. Their data, data is everything.
Data is everything, and your data is just as precious to those people out there that want to hack and take it as anybody else. The big guy, you think, I'm a small guy, nobody cares. And even years ago, before everybody was getting worried about cybersecurity and all that, and you hear a lot more of it now. But I was seeing some companies that we worked on, especially in the construction field, being attacked by the Chinese companies. We tracked it back to Hong Kong, and then going into mainland China, and they were being attacked. And these weren't necessarily super large companies, but they had information data that they thought was valuable, and they were trying to break into it, and they were pounding, trying to get into it. They're just so much more sophisticated nowadays. If you don't think your business is worth protecting, what if you have personal and private information that gets stolen? It can put you out of business if you don't have. The insurance is great. I mean, I highly recommend looking into insurance for it. It can be range in price dramatically about what type of coverage you get, but always the best thing is to detect when it happens. Try to block it out as much as you can. You'll never be able to block it all. Detect when something happens and be able to respond. And if you can do that quick enough in a proper way, my gosh, you probably will never have to go to that insurance. You can try to worry about insurance. But if you don't, and if you have HIPAA or high-tech information that gets put out there, if you get personal private information that gets taken from that, which can mean names, addresses, and maybe birthdays, social security information, maybe, but doesn't necessarily have to be. And if you get some key critical information that gets taken out, your business could end up being out of business from the lawsuits and penalties and so forth. So very good talk going on tomorrow morning. 7:30 the doors open at the TCBA headquarters, and we'll be there. And if you're interested, please come and join us. It's valuable education that you're going to be getting out of this.
All right, we're going to take another quick break, right? Go ahead, Frank.
Yep, just north of Prima Vista.
That's right, in Port St. Lucie.
Yes. And we'll be right back.
Good deal.
So stick with us. We've got much more.
Thank you. And we're in the home stretch around the corner.
And around the bend.
Here we go. Hey, it's the Martin County Business Exchange Wednesday night show. This is your co-host, John Campion, with Big Frank Mezzapel and our wonderful guest.
Our esteemed guest.
Esteemed guest.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, esteemed.
I've been raised a level here.
He's esteemed and he's living in a cloud. No, it's our good friend Eric Keene from C&W Technologies, located in the Regency Square Shopping Center, just around the corner from Home Goods, right?
So no, 2J. Best way is 2J Steinmart, and we're 2 doors to the left of Steinmart.
Yeah,
easy to get to, easy to find. The movie theaters are there. Great plaza.
And there's a emergency center right directly next door to you.
Yes.
So if the
Urgent
price
care.
is too expensive, for a repair, at least if you fall down, they can get you service.
That's right.
Right
They've
away.
got the defibrillator out there on the thing, ready to go.
Yeah.
No,
No,
that's
but
cool.
actually, they do a great job.
We try to be fair, but do good work,
Yeah.
and we back it up. And we actually, it's funny because I overheard my operations manager talking this morning to somebody, and they had a problem with something. They didn't feel that the repair was holding or working right, and she was trying to explain. Well, we have 30 days. You have 30 days. If we do service work on your machine, you have 30 days, and we'll go and fix it. We'll make it. If it's not working, sometimes things go out the door and it's working, but something happens and it stops because this is extremely complex.
Like that.
People think about this.
Yeah.
It is extremely. You think you use your computer every day and you think, it's just going to work, and then until the day it doesn't. And some of the stuff can be extremely complex, and you have to fix something else to get something else working first, and then you get it to that position that it looks like everything's going out the door. It works for a day, and then the next day it's like it's not working again. Well, we know that usually if anything's not going to not work, it's usually pretty quickly, within a few days.
Right.
But we say 30 days. You 30 days, and we'll warranty the labor. So that's pretty. That's what we've always done, and we haven't changed that. So.
But be honest, most of the times is what user error, right?
It's hard to say. Most of the times, yes. But there are things that we try to test every combination, but we can't. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was just thinking what we have our rule in MCBE. If the phone goes off, which I was guilty of not this week but last week, and I had not turned down my volume. And so we used to say, what was it, $5 or $10 or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But
now we just charge it.
Well, yeah.
It's all
the
e-pay.
thing is, I get, and you get them too, right?
Yep.
You get these calls from people who have no idea. They're just
if there's no name associated out of my thing,
and
forget
it's
it.
out of my area. I have no idea who.
This is Bill from Harley Davidson. We're going to be having a big old party down here today. Next week, going to have the girl, and we're going to be having a band.
Yep.
But now IT stuff. So so let's talk about this. So so everybody has phones.
Yep.
They have internet on their phone.
Yep.
And they talk to their computer.
Yep.
And they right.
It all communicates.
Right. So I'm thinking the people that want to hack in, they try to find the weakest link. Right?
Yep.
And then, so maybe they do it by a phone call. You answer the phone, and maybe all of a sudden they're in now.
And this is the most common thing that you get is, and this is really true on regular computer systems and so forth. Otherwise, is that they will call. You'll get a call. It makes it, or they'll make it legit. It sound like legit, or you'll get a message on your screen. The classic one that you always see is like, Microsoft has identified that your system has been infected. Please call this 800 number immediately, or we will terminate your system or whatever, something like that. And unfortunately, a lot of people still do call that number, and they'll answer Microsoft. And they'll answer, and they will say that they are from that, that number, and and the human factor is I called that number, but the number came from somewhere else. So as an example, I had, and this is to the length of what we have to do nowadays. I actually received a call from Microsoft came up on my display as coming from Microsoft.
On your phone or your...
On my phone.
Okay.
This is my business phone. And I actually had to look at it, and this person wanted me to log in, and they wanted to take control of my system to help me set up a program that Microsoft is offering. Well, they had called once before, and they were supposed to send me an email to fill me in with the information, but I never got the email. So now he's calling back, and the only hint that I had I thought might be legit is in between Friday and today, I had called to try to get in contact with them, but within Microsoft, they couldn't route me to that, particular individual or group. So I was a little cautious. You want to take control of my machine to help me set this up? No, why don't we go ahead and I'll do it on my end? And so they first give me a site that does look like it's a legitimate Microsoft site. So I go to that site, I log in like I'm supposed to. Good. He can't see what's going on. I can't, Then he wants me to open a new tab and type in another site which doesn't have any Microsoft related information other than ms dot something. I'm going, okay, I'm not so sure about this. At this point, I'm still not convinced.
And here you are a pro.
And so I go and search that do a search, and I happen to use Bing, which is Microsoft, and it actually pulled up a page that indicated that this is where it was supposed to go. Wasn't the tag that he gave me, but it was. So I clicked on it to get to that page. It logged me in and got me to the right spot. And then I could see that, what he was telling me was actually legit. So we went through the process. He never got my access to my machine. I did the setup like I was supposed to set up, and all was good. But, you have to be so careful nowadays. You have to be so careful. So your phone, the answer to your question, weakest link is usually the human factor.
Yeah.
So you just be very, very cautious of what you do. And is your phone the weakest link? Well, maybe. Because even if your phone doesn't get hacked, maybe it'll get information or have you send information to your email that you'll then trust. Now, because you've sent it from your phone, you trust it. You click on the link, which opens up the door to on your computer system. And if you're a Mac fan out there, if you're an Apple fan, don't believe that your system isn't vulnerable. It is. And it's just maybe not in the normal way or in some other way it's vulnerable. So you're subject to being hacked as well in some manner. So everybody can be and hacked. So you got to be careful about it.
Well, when you're talking about cell phones, and of course, we're just kind of talking about. I have people call me, and it's a 772 number.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But if it's somebody who I have in my contact list, and it's not, I don't answer it. Particularly if they don't leave a voicemail, obviously. But there's supposed to be I don't know if this has anything to do with what you know, Eric, and because I know you know a lot, and you too, Frank. I'm never going to downplay what you know. You always amaze me. But, they say, well, you can do put the block number in there to block it, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, because they often are spoofing numbers. They're trying to make it look like it's coming from
local.
I will say that my data services, I use Sprint, and on my phone, and this is a little plug for Sprint. They have on my phones, I have this call blocking anti-spam program that was actually built in, and part of it, you can add it to older phones. Some newer phones have it automatically, but it depends on your service. But it does a really good job. If you get a number like that and you report it, they'll look at it, and I get calls all the time that are blocked as spam because somebody else has reported it. I get calls all the time they say suspected spam, and I can listen to it if I want to or not. I can report it, and which I know is then helping other people on the network. It works extremely well. I get a lot, even those spoofed numbers and all that that look like they're local from Port St. Lucie or from here in Stewart or wherever. It'll pick a lot of those out.
They're phantom numbers, right?
Phantom numbers, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Just amazing.
And they're easy to set up. I can set one up in a couple minutes.
Isn't that amazing?
And I'm not good at it, so it takes me a couple minutes. So there's an automated tool out there that does it automatically. So.
Okay, well, listen, we've got a couple minutes left. There's so much crazy stuff to talk about, and you can talk for hours.
Yep.
At least a 6-pack. 2 bottles of wine. That's 8. Okay. So, anyways, Eric, why don't you give us some parting wisdom for people to watch? I know we've talked about the wall around our computer stuff at work, and cyber, and I mean that thing you're hosting tomorrow is a fantastic opportunity for people to really get a taste of what's going on.
More in-depth information.
Right. Well, we got like a minute left, Frank,
Yeah.
because I just talked for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Well, the cybersecurity is one of the aspects. Your data is your most important asset,
Yes.
no matter where or on what machine. So pay attention to it. Try to protect it. And if you don't know how, give us a call or visit us at cwnow.com. You can call us at 772-287-5215. And otherwise, we've been around here for 33 years, and we plan on being here for 33 more.
That sounds sweet.
Well
Good
done.
deal.
And you can look us up at McBiz.us too, and you can find Eric and John there very easily.
That's our website.
Yes.
Tells you who the companies in our group. We didn't really talk much about the group today, but we're all set. We'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great week and enjoy the wonderful weather. This MCB McBiz.com signing off. John Campion, Frank Mesbel, and our guest Eric Keene from C&W Technologies.
Well done, John.